Welcome to Education Today. I'm Jenny Miller.
And I'm Emily Gribick of Ford City High School in the Armstrong School District.
Over the last few years, we've brought our district technology directors in to talk about what's new and exciting in technology that has been implemented into our district. We've touched on just about every piece of technology that the district uses to make life easier on themselves and the teachers. This year, we will give an update on our current technologies, but add a few new things as well as what is planned moving forward. To talk more about the Armstrong School District technologies, we have with us Mr. Tony Grenda and Mr. Chris Clausen. Welcome to Education Today.
Thank you for having us.
Would you please introduce yourselves and give us a brief background of your professional experience?
Yes, I'm Tony Grenda. I'm the Director of Technology for the Armstrong School District. This is my 16th year here in the district. I've worked at all levels from technician all the way up to Director of Technology. Prior to that, I've also worked at a video conferencing company. I worked there for several years where we installed video conferencing equipment across the nation. So that's pretty much sums up my last 20-some years. So.
Hi, I'm Chris Clausen. I'm the technology coordinator here at the school district. I've been here for 14 years now, not too far behind Tony. I have a bachelor's degree in technology, and pretty much all my experience professionally has actually been within the district. I started here as a technician as well, and have worked my way up through the ranks to where I am at this point. And most of my dealings is more email and network infrastructure and things like that in the district. So that's kind of like where I fit into the picture, but I think that's pretty much it for now.
There are various technologies that are used throughout the district. Can you give us a brief overview of what kind of things there are out there?
There's a wide variety. We have everything from whiteboards and projectors for just about every single classroom. I think we have like 99% coverage throughout the district for the teachers and students to use. We have, what are some of the other things? We have Mobies, which are Mobies.
The mobile presenters that teachers can walk around with.
Some of the other major initiatives we've had in the past that Chris has finally wrapped up on was wireless. We finally have wireless blanketed across the district in all our buildings. So that was a huge step for us, and to moving forward in our district to allow us to start thinking about some other technologies and some other ways some other things we can implement throughout the district is thinking somewhere in the lines of BYOD, bring your own device, and some other start to thinking about electronic textbooks. So Chris has done a great job getting us to that point.
Our website offers our district some different features. How can people take full advantage of the site, and what exactly does our website offer?
Well, the website pretty much, a lot of the different features, a lot of it is the information that's available to parents and students, and as well as staff. There's separate sections of the website that are for the staff to give them information that's not provided to everybody. But I mean, everything from school closings to events that are going on the website show up on the main page. Then there's other information on there about the school board calendar, things like that. So information of what pretty much is going on in the district is on there, as well as all the various schools have control of their own content, events and calendars that are going on within the district. I think pretty much the best way to take full advantage of it is to just check it off. There's always something new on there. There's announcements coming on, so I think it's just check on it often.
Well, one of the other features we added this year was, since we have the new building opening up this fall, we added a section where you can actually go and see the pictures of the work in progress. So that's available on our website. Another thing that we switched to this year was a new parent portal, and you can find information on how to create an account, and access that is available on that website. And we also went to an online employee portal as well that allows us to try to minimize paper waste. And so employees are now able to access their W-2 information, their paycheck information, all on the website now. So,
we've talked about the CFF grants in the past. How has this innovative modernized the regular classroom?
I think kind of like Tony was starting to allude with, the CFF I think started getting us into the idea of like mobile devices in the classroom, laptops and things like that. That's what came in with the CFF grant. So we didn't have much of a wireless presence prior to that. So I think that was a step forward for us, is bringing that technology into the district, and then we've kind of grown upon that. What we originally put in isn't even close to what we have today. And that's where also the whiteboards came into play. So the whiteboards and projectors in the classrooms, that's where that all started, was that CFF grant. So we don't really have too much of that equipment still in use. Some of it's still around because it's from more than 10 years ago. That we do have some of it using Linux technology to try to keep some of that still in play. But that's where that kind of started to jumpstart our technology use in the classroom, and I think it's kind of exploded since that point.
Is there anything new in regards to this technology that is now being implemented?
I think the majority of it's been refreshes, moving to a new whiteboard vendor with new instead of with a touch interface where the teachers, instead of having to have specialized pens, the teacher can walk up and actually touch the whiteboard itself to control the mouse location from the projector. And as Chris said too about the wireless, initially when it was installed with the CFF, it was a single access point on the cart, and you only had the Wi-Fi available where the cart was. Well, now that Chris has implemented Wi-Fi across the entire district, we're not tied to that. So it doesn't matter where you're at in the building that you're able to access the wireless infrastructure. So those pieces in I'm just thinking, even with the Mobies, those type of devices really haven't changed much. So that's been sort of like the status quo for those. Mm-hmm.
What are some of the benefits to having this technology implemented in the schools?
I strongly believe it definitely gets the students more involved. The traditional way, or the way that I was taught, I think is definitely not the way that students nowadays react and learn from. They're used to an environment with electronic devices and being able to have instant feedback and information. But in the old days, we had to go to a library and pull out a book. I mean, when's the last time you've done that? So probably not in a while. So, but now that's just said. But that's what's one of the advantages of all the new technologies out there. You have that instant access to all the information that you're looking for.
This is clearly a never-ending process. What is the average life cycle for this equipment, and how do you plan for what needs to be replaced and when?
Can I get that one?
Yeah, go
All
ahead.
right, I'll start. Well, the average life cycle, I mean, is usually between 3 and 5 years. Is pretty much, I think, sort of like an industry standard, I would say. Unfortunately, with financial climate, we have to be creative and try to extend the life. Some of the equipment that, like we mentioned earlier, some of it's 10 years old, and we're still able to at least utilize it in some form. I know in the time coming here in the very near future, we're going to be upgrading some of our PCs using some solid state drives. And that sounds like a simple thing, but it's going to be a long process to get there. But the performance difference between a machine that has what is considered a mechanical drive, I don't want to get too technical, but they're much more, they're the higher performance drives, and they make an old computer run like new. So it might be an old case, but what's inside is what really matters. So some people will kind of look and say, why are you using this computer? It's 10 years old, but what's inside is not 10 years old. It's something that's cutting edge, and that actually makes it run better. So we're kind of getting to that implementation here in the near future, but I think it'll be a positive thing.
Yeah, and just to reinforce what Chris said, it's the financial climate, our financial limitations have really made us try to look outside the box, and it benefits the taxpayer as well because it reduces cost throughout the district. So, and like I said, we're constantly looking for either an open source solution, something that's free that we can implement, that'll provide the same services or nearly the same services at a much reduced cost. So.
Right. I guess to go along with that, there's so many computers to maintain through the district, as well as other technologies that we haven't already mentioned. How do you keep all of those items organized, and what kind of life cycle do these items have?
Okay. We have a trouble ticket system. that's out there, that if there is an issue, anybody has an issue within the district, we request that they submit a trouble ticket. This helps us because we have what, five people on staff, six total, and what would used to happen before we had the help desk is we'd walk in a building and then we'd immediately have 10 to 20 people ask us, hey, can you fix this? Can you help us with this? So the trouble ticket system has helped us be able to prioritize and make sure that we can cover all items that we don't forget, because when you have that volume of people approaching you all the time, you tend to forget things. So that's made a huge difference. And as far as the life cycle, it's the same thing as what we've answered before. We're really looking for outside the box ways to extend the life of all the hardware and all the technology we have throughout the district.
Technologies such as tablets or lighter, smaller laptops have become increasingly popular. Is the district looking into a different solution regarding computers?
We're constantly looking. We're constantly looking for new technologies. Over the past several years, we've implemented, I think it's close to 600 to 700 iPads throughout the district. A lot of those have come from the benefit of the ASD Foundation. They've been extremely generous in supplying carts of these iPads throughout the district. So I believe they've actually outfitted one in each building throughout the district. So, but yes, we are looking for. There are obviously drawbacks. I'm not sure I would want to type a paper on a tablet or an iPad, but they are good for a lot of the different things, like for research and internet research. There's great applications that fit different, especially in special ed. There's tons of applications that fit directly in that niche. So.
How difficult is it to keep all these things constantly updated?
You want to take that, Chris?
Believe it or not, actually, it's somewhat difficult because an iPad is a good example. Is not meant to be a commercially used device. I mean, it was designed for an individual user. And if you're one person, you have an iPad and you use it, you can keep it up to date pretty easily. But to have 600 or 700 of them, the management of that is kind of, it multiplies. So there are ways to do it. There are some we're actually using an open source app called Meraki to keep track of the iPads. And then the users kind of get to do their own app install and things like that. But to keep up with the actual iOS updates and things of that nature prior to version 6, I believe, where it'll auto-update from the iPad itself, I mean, that was a large undertaking. You pretty much had to bring the cart in, you had to hook them up, you had to upgrade each individual one and then put them back in the cart and then bring them back to the building or do it on site. So to keep up with those devices took a lot of time.
Okay, thanks very much. We're going to take a short break and we'll be right back with Armstrong School District Education Today. We'll be talking more with Mr. Chris Clausen and Mr. Tony Grenda, both of the Armstrong School District Technology Department. Stick around.
Success. We see it every day. Hundreds of majors and programs, bachelor's degrees to PhDs, small classes, internationally known faculty who are committed to your success. Real-world experiences to guide you on your career and life path. An alumni network 120,000 strong. I'm IUP President Mike Driscoll. Visit us. Find your success at Indiana University of Pennsylvania.
We're back with Armstrong School District's Education Today. We're talking with Mr. Tony Grenda and Mr. Chris Clausen of the Armstrong School District's Technology Department.
We would be remiss if we didn't mention the other members of the District Technology Department. Who does your staff now consist of?
Okay, we have Mr. Ron Goffin. He's our senior service technician. We have Brad Bowser, who is also a technician. We have a new member of our staff, which is Dave Fulton. He is our information analyst?
Yes.
I believe that's the title. I was trying to remember the title, sorry there. We have Mr. Jamie Osborne. He is our PIMS person. His title is information...
It's too long for me
yeah,
to remember.
it's really tough.
He's our PIMS guru, so he does a lot of the he does the reporting
he does
for
reporting.
the state reporting. So,
and we also have Mr. Greg Jordan. He is he's also a maintenance staff person, but he works part time for us. He does a lot of cabling and things like that. But those are the members of our staff. other than ourselves.
What are the constant challenges you face with the position you guys are in?
Time and finances are the two largest. How do we spend the money that we do have effectively, and continue to provide new technology for the entire district? Time is another one. Obviously, with 5 of us supporting over 7,000 users, and how many devices would you say, Chris? Probably close to 8,000 devices.
Probably close to that.
Throughout the district, it's a challenge. So we really try to focus on trying to make sure that we make cost-effective decisions that are going to definitely improve the situation in the school district technology.
Are there other classroom-based technologies that are new that fall in the same category as Read 180?
And we also have some other software packages out there. I'll mention a few of them. One of them is Accelerated Reader. That's for reading enforcement. We have that in place. There's also Study Island that's used heavily throughout the school district for remediation, helping students that need additional support in a subject area that's available to them. I'm trying to think of some other technologies that might be out there. Can you think of anything else, Chris?
I got System 44.
Oh, there we go.
System 44 is sort of an offshoot, I think, of Read 180. It falls on the same lines, but that's another big program that just came in this year.
And System 44 is out there for students who need additional remediation beyond Read 180. So that's newly available.
We mentioned about iPads and tablets earlier, and we now know that there are some of these floating around the district in some select buildings. Can you talk about how they have begun to be implemented, and what is the district's plan moving forward with them?
As I mentioned before, the main source of those being implemented has been the ASD Foundation, and we're extremely grateful for their donations for this. I know they've been used throughout the district for support of, you name the curriculum. I know they're used heavily in the elementary levels. I know specifically in the special ed, there's a ton of special ed students that really seem to respond extremely well with these devices, these touch devices. So. It's just changed the way education is being delivered in a classroom. It gives a student a hands-on. It lets the teacher take and show something instead of being at the chalkboard. They can take it to an individual level and take it right to the student. So it's made great improvements in the classroom environment.
When technologies such as these tablets are added to this district through awarded grants and other means, how does the affect the difficulty of your guys' jobs?
It's one more item to add. But I tell you what, as we can start doing this more and more, it's becoming easier for us because we've seen it already. So the biggest part is making sure we get it into inventory, make sure we get all the software that's needed on it. But beyond that, our staff has really come a long way, and they're very comfortable with starting to use this equipment. So it really hasn't been that much of a challenge the last 2 years. So it's got, believe it or not, it's gotten easier. So.
That's good.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you see the value of these, and how can they enhance the students' learning experience?
I think Tony kind of started that with some of the iPads and everything that have come in, where it really engaged. I mean, kids nowadays, I hate to call you kids, but young people, pick a piece of technology and you use it like you've been using it for 10 years, where some of the older individuals, it takes them quite a while to pick up new technology. So I think it just engages the younger generations because you guys are so used to it and you're so effective at using it. So I think that kind of enhances the learning. The only thing is you just don't want to get to a point that you're dependent entirely on it. I think that's one thing that people need to keep in mind when they use the technology is it's a resource. And I think that resource is definitely changed how we learn and how we access information, and we can find out information at a moment's notice. What are the movie times tonight? Grab an electronic device and I mean, that's just a small example, non-educational, unfortunately. But no, you want to look up anything, and these devices are just giving you that access a lot easier in your hands at all times.
I know you have to keep an eye on the future when planning and implementing new technologies. How has all of that changed with the eventual closing of 3 buildings and the opening of a brand new one for the 2015-2016 school year?
It's taken a lot of time and effort to ensure that we have everything ready to go for the new school year. We basically had to go through and identify all the equipment that we were going to take from those 3 buildings and move it to the new high school. We had to work with contractors and the architects and their engineering firms to make sure that the network, wireless, security systems, and all those types of things were ready and available for us when we're going to move to the new buildings. We also have to work with the phone company and to try to make sure all the phone lines are there, try to get the phone system ordered and in place in a timely manner so we can make a smooth transition from those 3 buildings to the new building. So it's a lot. We also have to work with, and I'll let Chris can talk about this, about working with Comcast, about making sure all the...
Sure, yeah. There's a lot of coordination that goes into a new school, which a lot of people sort of overlook because it's, hey, it's a nice new school, and they walk in and everything works. There's a lot going on there. You know, working with Comcast to make sure they're the ones that provide our network infrastructure so that there's access to internet resources and other resources throughout the district, which hopefully will be utilized in the future, maybe even in the TV studio, being able to broadcast from the new building to other buildings within the district. So that might be a nice thing that comes from that. But it does make our jobs a little more difficult. It's a little more hectic, trying to keep track of everything, and then also looking at new technologies that are coming out at the same time and saying, can we either afford to buy these new technologies for the new building, sort of make it like a flagship. It's going to be a place new technology can be displayed and everyone will see it. So there's some other things that are coming that we're trying to work on, but we'll see if we get there before it opens.
What is the plan regarding technology in the new building?
Right now, we're organizing, identifying what's going to be moved. Believe it or not, we need to start moving some of that equipment starting in April due to the time frame of when the contractors are completing the building. But one of the things that Chris mentioned before is about changes in the classroom is one of the major changes in each classroom is there are going to be no more TVs throughout the entire building. They're going to be, everything's going to be used across all the projectors. There's a projector in every room, and that's going to take the place of the TVs in the classroom. So all morning announcements and everything will be transmitted from the TV studio across that. Well, since that's going to be going across our network, that technically is available anywhere throughout the district. So anything that you produce on the TV studio could be viewed anywhere throughout the district.
What, if anything, will the new building offer that will be an improvement on what the current buildings have?
I think I jumped the gun and told you that right now before this question. So, but yeah, that's one of the things. I know another thing that Mr. Garitano, he has a brand new TV studio that's going to be coming in place. I'm not sure what size-wise, if that's going to be larger or not. I know he also has a new video storage solution that he's going to be implementing, so he can start archiving all the videos that and all the work he's been doing with AHS-TV. So that's one of the major changes that's coming up.
What challenges do you face while preparing for the new building opening?
A lot of it's timing. Trying to work with the contractors to make sure that everything that they're installing is going to actually align with what we're trying to do. For example, all the connections in the classroom, they were using older connections that are they're to be pretty much going to be going the wayside. So we went in and had those revamped to try to use more modern connections like HDMI connectors and provide additional connectors. So because one of the challenges is when you're building a new building is you have to look at it as not just at that opening day, is you're really not going to be able to get a chance to do any type of renovations or major updates for at least 20 years. So, and that's our biggest challenge, especially with technology changing so quickly. So that's kind of been our biggest challenge.
In the past, job shadowing and internship opportunities were offered. Is that still planned moving forward?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it's available at any time.
Definitely is.
Sure. Yeah, we look forward to that. Any opportunity that anybody would like, we'd welcome that.
If so, how can people contact you for more information for job shadowing?
They could contact me at via my email address. It'd be tgrenda@asd.k12.pa.us. So if you could just send me an email and I could get back to you quickly.
Is there anything else you'd like to share for the benefit of our viewers?
I'll add one thing. I wanted there wasn't a specific question to mention it. And I know last year when we were here, we talked a lot about bring your own device. And I kind of wanted to just throw out some information about that because it has been a year and we're not there yet. Something like bring your own device is a very complicated setup. It seems simple. There's wireless that's already in the district. Why can't we use it? The problem is with everyone with electronic devices, if you all just connected to the network right now, things that are business critical could be affected. So people being able to do paychecks and things like that can be affected by your use of streaming video or playing games on phones and things like that. So there's a lot of background processes that we're going through right now. We're basically revamping our entire network to sort of get to a point that we could support something like that. It's very hard in an infrastructure to do something like that, and that's just on the technology side. And we really need some policy-based things that need to be out there as well, basically that outline how it's to be used in the classroom and how the teachers can implement it, and that all needs to come from above. So we don't have any of that, and I think there's some talk about doing that, but I just kind of wanted to give an update as to where we are and why people were probably saying, why aren't we doing this? We're working on it, and it's definitely something we're interested in, but we're just not there yet.
Well, that's our show for today. I'd like to thank our guests, Mr. Tony Grenda and Mr. Chris Clausen of the Armstrong School District, for giving of their busy schedules to talk to us about our district's wonderful technologies. Our thanks go out to the TV production students of Ford City High School, led by their teacher, Mrs. Catherine Given. They were our film crew today.
Please join us again next week for another look at the Armstrong School District. Visit our website for updated information about the district and have a great week.